Welcome back. Casey Campbell here with Great Lakes Post. We are pleased to be joined by Rajah Caruth, the driver of the number 6 Chevrolet for Rev Racing. How's it going, Rajah?
I'm great, Casey. How are you, man?
Doing well. Well, we're at Salem. Of course, your first time there. How exciting is it to go there to that track?
Casey, it's exciting every time you go to a racetrack, whether you've been there 20 times or it's your first time. So I'm really just thankful to get to go to the racetrack again, and hopefully we can build on the run we had at Bristol and be even more competitive.
Yeah. So kind of going into what Bristol was like for you, you had a quite the interesting day. Kind of talk about that.
Yeah, so fired off pretty good. Those first 30 laps, I was really not really doing what I was supposed to do in terms of like hitting the apron and like being all over the place and stuff, being like nervous, but I calmed down and was fine for the rest of the race in that aspect. But that first segment, or really to the end of that first segment, we were pretty good. And then our balance kind of changed, and we had some issues through the middle portion, that middle stage, and we fell back to 15th, right? So we lost all that track position and got it fixed. So by the time it was third stage, I could go back forward and do what I needed to do. Just ran out of time. Honestly, should have finished third or fourth there, depending on both with the lap times we were running and how we were in comparison to all the people we were racing against. We just kind of ran out of time there. So overall, that was a great experience at that racetrack. And I think moving forward, even next year, I feel confident in going there and being even more competitive and racing up front for that race.
Going into this weekend at Salem, what do you want to do? This is the kind of the last short track of the main ARCA schedule. But what's that going to be like heading into Salem this weekend?
I think going into Salem this weekend, Casey, my goals don't change. And I will say that kind of my approach has changed a little bit this week, but I think the goals still remain the same of running all the laps and learning all I can, just because I'm still on the green side in terms of experience and everything. But I think my approach has changed a little bit moving forward in that, I don't know if you were listening to Racing Spaces the other night, but speaking with Hamlin, with Andy Lally, with Matt Tift, and specifically with Denny, and kind of getting insight onto how what's most important for younger drivers to do in terms of ones that are interested in going to the next, ascending their career essentially. And I think as a result of that conversation, I've kind of changed my perspective and my approach going into these races is to like, all right, this car is supposed to finish in this position, right? If I can exceed that by a spot or two, not at the consequence or result of ripping fenders off or moving people out of the way, but doing it the right way, that is going to be the thing that pays dividends for me moving forward as a driver, from a reputation standpoint and from a development standpoint. So that's kind of how my approach has changed a little bit. So if we go to Salem and we have a 5th place car, try to get a spot or two better. That doesn't mean over driving to do that or doing something stupid. That just means trying harder, but not being dumb about it. If we have a 3rd place car, that applies the same. If we have a 7th place car, it applies the same. So that's kind of how my approach has changed. But overall, the goals remain the same of running all the laps and just learning.
When am I going to get on Racing Spaces? Apparently I haven't made it yet because you made it when you went on there. I don't know.
I don't know. I'll tell Bozy to let you on next week if I get on.
Maybe, I don't know. So this, of course, your schedule has kind of gotten more known now. Of course, the Xfinity schedule just got released yesterday, along with the truck schedule. Parts of the ARCA schedule were also released. I'll get to that in a minute. But your Xfinity stuff was kind of now put out there with now a full schedule is out there. We kind of know what you're running too.
Yeah, definitely, Casey. I mean, my first 3 races are all in the same month. So that'll be great.
Yeah.
But that just means I have to be even more disciplined and in reference to myself physically and mentally, right? Like those 3 tracks, like the first 2, Richmond and Martinsville, are back to back. So that means the week leading up to Martinsville after Richmond, I've got to make sure that I'm getting to sleep on time, I'm eating right, I'm rehydrating, because I know I'm going to be tired after the first one. And so I think it's having them all in that short time span is going to be helpful, just because of not going from different race car to different race car. I mean, and the ARCA race will be at Talladega before Dover, so that'll be a little bit of a difference, but really it's going to be pay dividends to be in that car consecutive weeks and be in a close amount of time, just because that'll help my learning, I think, just go in an upward trend. And then the other races that we're looking at that will be Pocono and Kansas in the late summer and fall, or I guess technically fall of next year. That'll be in companion with the ARCA races. So that'll be, if ARCA's in Pocono, I'm not sure if they'll go, but that'll be pivotal in my development as well.
Right. Also, was just announced actually a few minutes ago that that Lucas Oil Raceway, otherwise known as IRP, will be on the ARCA schedule this year. How exciting is that?
Man, I'm excited. I remember watching nationwide races at IRP since 2007, right? And Almirola leading there, Jason Leffler winning his last race there, trucks racing there, man. Like, I'm excited to go to that place. I mean, it's another racetrack, but a place with that history, and being in the state of Indiana, another place that I'll go to the first time this weekend, but to be in the city of around Indianapolis, I believe that'll be awesome. That's one of my good friend Don Trey's home areas. So overall, I'm excited to go to that racetrack. It's another short track, and it's got its own innards and techniques, and I'm excited to learn.
I went to Indianapolis for the first time a few months ago. It was amazing. That yeah, and who knows? I might be going there next week too. But anyway, Rajah Caruth, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll talk to you probably in a few weeks when we preview Kansas.
Sounds good. Thanks, Casey.